Welcome back to Cow Park Bros. Jason and I are fresh off the segment discussing the life and times of one Vince McMahon. Coming up in segment 2, we're talking about Marvel Phase 5 and 6. Jason, in some ways, it doesn't even feel like we're on Phase 5 and 6 with Marvel Studios. It feels like we're still on Phase 4. And I know technically that we are. But it feels weird even talking about 5 and 6 right now. You got people not even recovering from the fact that ain't no more Iron Man. Okay?
Well, we'll get into that too, but I know what you mean exactly. Yeah.
So, Marvel releases basically a ton of announcements about Phase 5 and 6. Sorry. And I'll just clear out a few of the high notes. I haven't even watched this damn trailer yet because, frankly, I'm not ready to yet. I know people are excited about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I know people are excited about Ant-Man. I know people are excited about the new Guardians of the Galaxy. We're going to see a new Blade. We're going to see a new Captain America. Just for starters. So that's just the first and I know technically that the Black Panther is technically part of Phase 4. But what out of Phase 5, the movies that I've rattled off, what are you actually looking forward to in Phase 5?
So, just want to point out, yes, we're still in Phase 4. The last two things in Phase 4 will be She-Hulk coming out later this month, and as you mentioned, Wakanda Forever in November. But to answer your question, of I can't really narrow it down to just one. If I had to pick two things, I'm most excited to see, it will be the new Captain America movie. Because obviously Chris Evans is no longer Captain America. It's going to be Anthony Mackie, the Falcon-ish, Captain America. If you haven't seen the Winter Soldier and Captain America or the Falcon and Winter Soldier on Disney Plus, check that out. Part of Phase 4, by the way. And that's another thing too. Oh, actually, to finish your question, the Daredevil series is going to be on Disney Plus, because that's going to be like. So remember, Disney had all those, or rather, Marvel had all those series on Netflix, and then Disney said, "No, we're going to snatch a lot of stuff up from you." So we haven't seen anything from those series from Netflix until now, Phase 4, which is going to be coming in 2023, I believe. So I'm excited to see that because I love the Daredevil on Netflix. Hopefully, they can still create those fantastic fight scenes they would have there, and that's what I'm excited about to do that there. When it comes to the whole announcement of Phase 5 and 6, I'm not going to say I was surprised. I think we talked about this before between me and you off air about we didn't really know what was next, because the Avengers movies, when it comes to the original Avengers, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Hulk, those Avengers are as far as those movies with those 6 are gone and dead. Endgame solidified that. And that's when Phase 4 jumped in. And there haven't been the best of things come out of Phase 4 when it comes to certain movies. I won't necessarily name names, but you can imagine what we're talking about.
Why don't you name names, dog? I mean, put it on wax, dog. Come on.
I'll go into it later, but the Eternals. But anyway, yeah, that's number one there. But part of Phase 5, 6, I think these are going to be Phase 6 movies. Yep. They did announce there's going to be 2 more actual Avengers movies. And when I say Avengers, I mean in title. Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, and Avengers, Secret Wars. Those appear to be the final 2 movies of Phase 6, coming in May of 25 and November of 25. So we got a ways to go, folks. We got a ways to go. We're going to get there. But again, I was kind of surprised because, again, Phase 4 hasn't had the best of reviews from certain people. And again, the end of Phase 4 is only going to be a few months away. So up until this month, they didn't have anything announced for what was coming. Yes, I agree. They're not going to stop making movies, making shows. Of course, it's Marvel. Got to keep the money coming in. But again, with the Avengers all pretty much, again, not folks, I haven't seen Hawkeye, I haven't seen Moon Knight, I haven't seen Miss Marvel yet, so I don't know what came about in those. But pretty much most of the Avengers are pretty much on the original form are gone. Again, Captain America, Chris Evans is in there, Tony Stark's dead, Black Widow, she pretty much sued her way out of being a part of this anymore. Um, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up and you'll figure it out. Scarlett Johansson suing Disney. There you go. But yeah, so again, without any perspective or any insight of there being actual Avengers movie, what was going to be next? More like brand new characters and whatnot, which could work. But I don't know. I'm gonna throw it back to you, but I have a question for you. One movie in Phase 6 that I saw that's gonna be coming, I think it's the first thing in Phase 6 from what I'm reading, is another Fantastic Four movie. That's the one thing I'm very much the least interested in seeing anything about, especially if it's going to be the same four characters that were playing the Fantastic Four and the last one, the one with Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller. No thanks. So of all the stuff you've seen, is there anything that you're like least excited to see?
I don't know if I'm necessarily least excited to see. And the reason why I said it is because hell, I got a backlog in phase 4 right now. Hell, so do you. Uh I will say Moon Knight I was pleasantly surprised about. I like Oscar Isaac as a character, and so I think that's a worthy watch for anybody, even if you're not into like Marvel stuff. I really like that show. Hawkeye I haven't checked out yet. Um, I will eventually. At the end of the day, a lot of this stuff really couldn't hold a candle to WandaVision, and I think that's a good chunk of why I never really got into a lot of the other um, Disney shows. Like I did check out the Loki Disney Plus show. I really enjoyed it. Um, I'll probably check out Miss Marvel at some point. Um, but
As a member of the POC community, you have to check out Miss Marvel. That's a must.
as a member of the PLC community, I ain't got to do nothing but stay black and die.
Well, as Michael Jackson, you don't have to stay black either, but or Sammy Sosa.
Anyways, uh, yeah, man. You were asking me about phase 5, or rather you asked me about phase 6. And let's just recap everything that's coming out in phase 6. So clearly there's going to be other Avengers movies. Big claim, the big call out there, you're going to have the time traveling villain King the Conqueror there. I don't know a lot about that character from the comic book perspective, and so I can't even say I'm not interested. Clearly, I'm interested. Uh, it looks a little light. It clearly, clearly, more stuff is going to be announced for Phase 6. So I almost feel like Phase 6 gets an incomplete. Uh, Fantastic Four. This will be the first time they'll actually be a part of the MCU, and that gives me a ton of hope because that means maybe they'll actually do it justice.
I'll need to see who the actors are in the movie before I even consider giving it any sort of respect.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, I'll put it to you like this: until we actually saw Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange on paper, that probably sounded like some bullshit. And then he put on that cloak, dog, and it was a wrap.
Well, okay, so I tell you what, I actually didn't have an issue with that because one, I wasn't the most familiar with Doctor Strange as a character, period, other than seeing him in like the '90s Spider-Man commercial cartoons. And then two, before the first Doctor Strange movie, he didn't have any crappy movies that came out before that. In this case, now they have two to deal with. Okay, no disrespect to Michael B. Jordan, Miles Teller, Jessica Alba, none of those people. But those first two movies were not impressive. Now, yes, they weren't part of the MCU, but as I mentioned, just because it's in the MCU, don't mean it's going to be any good. I.e., again, Eternals.
I mean, so first off, there were two final Fantastic Four.
That's what I'm saying. The first one with Jessica Alba and that crew, and then the second one with Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller.
I believe there was a sequel.
To what?
to Fantastic Four. I could be wrong.
Which one?
I believe I feel like there was a sequel to the Fantastic Four where Jessica Alba was in it.
Keep talking. I'll look it up right now.
Because remember, in the sequel, clearly you don't remember, and that's okay. But what I'm saying is, and I feel like there was absolutely a sequel to that.
No, there was. It was The Rise of the Silver Surfer. You're right. Even that was trash. So,
and so in the first movie, there was hope because at least you had Doctor Doom as a villain. That kind of sort of worked. Galactus as a villain should have worked. Clearly, it did not. And then you got the Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan one that I've never seen. So I have no opinion about it.
Don't waste your time.
I have no dog in that fight. Hell, there's a ton of Marvel movies I've never watched. I've never watched Ghost Rider.
You might want to. Well, there's a movie called The Thunderbolts coming out, which is a Marvel movie. I know in the comics and cartoons, Ghost Rider was one of those heroes as part of the Thunderbolts, so you may get to see him again. But so you never seen either one of the Ghost Rider movies? No, neither one of them.
Nope.
Not even with Eva Mendes, bro.
Nope.
Eva Mendes, bro.
Eva Mendes ain't enough, dog.
Okay. Have you seen Hitch?
I mean, Hitch was actually a good movie.
Okay, change the step. Okay, get back on track. Back on track.
Yeah. So back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and not the Jason Ross Fantasy Universe.
That's cinematic too, bro. Eva Mendes is very cinematic. So.
But yeah, man, I can't even be like, oh, I'm not satisfied with what's in Phase 6 because clearly there's more coming. Clearly there's going to be more announcements. And I was going to look at Phase 5 real quick and look at what else was coming out. That's what I wanted to do real quick before you distracted me with Eva Mendes. Shame on you. Let's see. Oh, movie that I'm probably looking the most forward to. I'm in the camp of Blade was perfect the way it was, at least the first one. And so, for me, Wesley Snipes did an amazing job as Blade. I know Mahershala Ali is going to be Blade in this one. I hope it works. I really do. And
it's going to be MCU, Terrence. I mean, it's going to be fantastic because it's in the MCU, right?
Wow. Anyways, but what I'm really looking forward to the most is something that I already know works. And if you got Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio coming back for Daredevil, dog, that's gonna work. That's gonna do numbers. They already have a blueprint. You got the core principles of what made the Netflix show work, and that Daredevil clearly was the standout out of all of the Netflix shows, right? And I feel like the reason why you had great acting, the choreography and the fight scenes was top notch, and yeah, I that's probably the standout to me. Hell, that if Daredevil came out tonight, I would probably put it before everything else that I haven't watched on Disney Plus right now. Just off the strength of what they produced previously.
Facts. Totally agree. No offense to Hawkeye, Moon Knight, and Miss Marvel, but I'll go out of order for sure. Watch Daredevil first because I'm not waiting. So that's why I'm gonna watch those things first before we get to all this other stuff. So,
but yeah, that's. Oh, and we didn't even mention the Marvels.
I would be interested to see what's going to happen with that because I've heard some things about them possibly not making that, which I'm going to assume is probably still on board since they announced it. Despite what everyone else thought, I actually liked the Captain Marvel movie because I kind of liked the symbolism in it, whether it was intentional or not. We'll see what happens with this. So yeah, I hope it does well. Just for the sake, because again, I like the character. I like the fact that she essentially is like the Superman of all these people, and she's a female, so I thought that was pretty cool. So hopefully this movie does well. Hopefully the character plays a huge role as well in the Avengers movies, like she did in the last couple. So we shall see.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty stoked. I feel like there's something for everybody, and we're at the point. At one point, people were worried that there wasn't even going to be really enough of a team for the Avengers, right? Because oh man, we can't have Spider-Man, we can't have this person because you know half of those rights to these characters were somewhere else. Well, now it's all kind of under the banner that is pun intended that is Marvel, and I'm not worried about how the Avengers is going to look in 10 years because however it's constructed, I'm I feel like what I am going to be provided with is going to be satisfactory. I mean, for every letdown movie like the Eternals, there's been there's been 7 Iron Mans. Okay, so
Well, it's time to be touting all the Iron Man movies, bro, because there was at least one of them that was trash.
which,
I venture to say two, but I'm not gonna get in a fight with anybody about the second one. But let's be real, the third one was trash
why didn't you like Iron Man 3?
because it was trash.
I mean, specifically, what didn't you like? What didn't work in that movie for you?
The storyline didn't really do anything for me. The only thing that really came out of that was kind of cool was Pepper Potts getting some powers. Other than that, didn't really do anything for me. As I'm looking back over that movie, I'm thinking, what was really the point of it in connection to the MCU? Other than that, and even that was like, what was the point? So I kind of feel like it was a pointless movie in a way. Again, I'm sure all the Marvel nerds will at me. I'm sure, and that's fine. But I didn't see the point of it. Thought it wasn't really that entertaining. I saw it twice. After the second time, I'm like, I'm good on this.
Yeah, it was interesting the way they played that with the Mandarin.
Horrible choice in villain, by the way. Again, it's part of the story in the comics, so I'm not going to hate on that. But I think we talked about the Thor: Love and Thunder last week. We talked about Gore and the villains and whatnot, and where Gore kind of sat when it comes to the hierarchy of great MCU villains. Again, I haven't looked into this. It could be a good topic for the show. Who knows? But I had to say that the Mandarin is probably, and I'm sure people will agree. Let me know, folks. cowpopbros.com and cowpopbros@gmail.com. But I have to imagine the Mandarin is probably one of the worst, if not the worst, Marvel villain of all the MCU.
I think Marvel would actually cop to that because when you think about how they kind of did an about face about Ben Kingsley uh, playing the Mandarin, they actually referenced that in Shang-Chi. So it almost seems like, dog, they heard you. Like, hell, it don't even matter if I agree with you. Hell, Marvel agree with you.
Well, there it is. There you go. There you go. One of the many things that made Shang-Chi a good movie. So can't wait to see him in the future of the MCU and see what he does.
Yes, sir. All right. That concludes our segment on Phase 5 and Phase 6 of Marvel MCU. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about the Indiana doctor that performed the abortion on a 10-year-old girl and really the impact and the fallout from that decision. Coming up next on Cal Park Bros.